I will be recording tonight's presentation to make it available for folks after as well. If you are not able to stay for the whole thing or want to share it with your family or friends. My name is Joanna. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I live in Portland, Maine. I've been with CIEE since 2012. And I'm super excited to help you complete your application tonight. So really our focus for this evening is walking you through the application task by task, because as you probably know from all of our emails and texts and everything, our deadline for the scholarship application is January 14th, next Friday. So I'm going to keep the formal presentation part really short, and then I'll really dive into the application task by task. One thing that I'll send through the chat right now is a link to our presentation that we'll be hosting tomorrow night. If you're interested in learning more about on-program support, health and safety, that webinar is Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern with our VP of Risk Management. And you can register for that on our virtual presentation website. And that again will be recorded and shared out with all participants and emergency contacts via email afterward. So I'll send through that link in the chat. As we go, I'm going to, hopefully cover all of your questions as we go through the application, but you can send things through to the Q&A as they come up. I'll try and keep an eye on it and answer best I can as we go, and we'll take it from there. All right. So I kind of just went through, we're going to talk about the scholarship eligibility, really walk through the application, and then I'll leave time at the end for questions and answers. This is a fun chart I like to share. So this is how 2021 participants described their experience in one word. So you can start to look at this word chart and project a little bit into next summer of what you might expect. A lot of folks gained independence and they grew well on the program. They got out of their comfort zone. They explored a culture. So this is just a cool way of reflecting and then getting excited for this summer. So with our January 14th scholarship deadline, I just want to highlight again the types of scholarships that CIEE offers. Something that makes us stand out that we're really proud of in the study abroad industry is that every year we award over $5.4 million in scholarships. There's no other scholarship like this for high school students. So we're really excited to share this opportunity with you. It comes with some strict eligibility requirements. These are agreed upon with our donors. So we offer two types of scholarships. And for the academic merit and financial needs scholarship, you need to be a US citizen or permanent resident, be a current freshman, sophomore, or junior in high school, and you can't have traveled on a financial needs scholarship in a prior year. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Our merit only scholarship is a 10% scholarship, and that's open to absolutely everyone. You could be an international student, you could be an alumni traveling with us for a second year. We love when alumni come back and travel with us again. So that merit scholarship is open to seniors. All students can apply for that. What you can expect in your scholarship application, and then we'll actually go look at an application and walk through it step by step. But you can expect 3 short essay questions. Overall, I recommend drafting your essays in a Word doc or a Google Doc so that you can get feedback from a friend, feedback from a parent or a teacher, and do your spell check, your grammar check and everything, and then paste those essays into your MyCA account when you're good with your final drafts. You'll include a transcript upload for your current year of high school. It doesn't have to be an official transcript, and we'll look at this task again in a minute. You need a teacher recommendation. This is a task you want to prioritize this week. If you have not yet added a teacher to the recommendation to send it to them, you definitely want to do that. Terms and conditions that will be signed by your legal guardian. I'll show you how to send them that. That will be done electronically. And then for those of you applying for our financial need scholarship, you also will have 2 tasks related to your financial information. So I'll cover a little bit on the timeline. So for the deadline, January 14th, that's when all of your applications are due. What CIE does is we then send them all off to an external review board. It takes them a couple of weeks to score everything. They'll be looking at your essays, your transcript and GPA, and your teacher recommendation. They score all of the applications. They don't see your financial information, so we're scoring need blind. CIE gets those scores back, and then we award scholarships to the top scoring students. So at that point, we have, okay, here are our top scoring students. Here's who's a really good fit for the program, strong application. Here's who we want to award a scholarship for. And then we look at your finances. And what we're really looking at is your total income and number of household members, and then awarding a scholarship anywhere from 10% to 100% of program tuition based off of your family's finances. So the dollar amount of your scholarship is not reflective of the quality of your application. If you're getting a scholarship, it means you had an amazing application. You're a great fit for our program. That's a huge, huge accomplishment. And then the dollar amount is just based off of those tax forms that you'll provide, and we'll look at those in a minute. So you'll hear from us mid to late February with a decision. We'll let you know if you were accepted to the program, what program you were accepted to, and your scholarship award amount. At that time, you'll talk it over as a family and decide, yes, I'm definitely going to travel this summer. I'm going to put down my acceptance deposit. I'm going to do my enrollment tasks. I'm going to confirm and move forward through the process. If it's not going to work out this year, that's okay. We understand if, plans change, something comes up. You just need to communicate with us and let us know that you will not be accepting your scholarship and not traveling. And that's fine. So just by applying, you're not fully committing at this stage. You're just applying. You'll get that scholarship decision by late February. Have about 10 days to think it over as a family and then decide to move forward. And if you do move forward, we'll be helping you through the entire pre-departure process. I'm not going to get too into the weeds on that because we'll send a lot more information and have a lot of webinars about pre-departure later once you've actually been accepted to the program. So if you have not started an application yet, you still have time, but you should start tonight, right now, as we walk through. So here's the QR code where you can go to start an application. And now we're going to head to the website, and I'm going to show you a couple resources of good information to keep as you work through the process. So from the CIEE website, what you want to do is you'll go to questions, and this is where most of your good resources are. So application support. Hang on, I'm actually going to switch the screen I'm on so it's a little bit bigger. 1 second. Let's do this. All right. So from our website, go to questions and then application support. I'll send through the URL as well. I recommend bookmarking this, have this page up as you work on your application, because what it does is it goes through task by task. You can just click the blue plus sign and you can get written instructions if you learn by reading, or there's also a quick 1 to 3 minute video walking you through the tasks. So if you don't remember everything we cover tonight, which I certainly don't expect you to, it's a lot of information, come back here and you can watch these videos. It's me giving you the information actually, so you can see these at any time. So I sent that through in the chat. And then another good spot for you, again, was that virtual presentation page. And then also from questions, the FAQs. This has a lot of general program questions. So I'm not going to cover a lot tonight about general, just what's the program structure look like, what's included in tuition. That's been in previous webinars. So this FAQ page has a lot of those answers. And then your next best resource is your program page. So from program search, if you have an application open, you've probably found this before, but you can open your program page and find a lot more information on this page of the price. You can look at the dates for the different sessions. There's activity samples, curriculum samples, blogs are here. So this is a good spot for finding out information about your program. And now we're going to go to an actual application. So this is for a staff member. We're not looking at a real student's information for privacy reasons, of course. So this is a made up account here, but Melissa's applying for Seville. So within your account, if you're applying for a scholarship, you'll have two sections. So everyone will start with your program application. All right, so from here, one of the very first questions that you will answer is, are you applying for a scholarship? So this is your chance to decide what type of scholarship you'd like to apply for. Again, if you do more, it'll pop out the complete eligibility criteria, so you can make sure you are eligible for the type of scholarship that you are applying for. And then it will ask you screening questions. So if you're a US citizen or permanent resident, if you're a junior, sophomore, or freshman, and if you, then you will have the option to select the financial need, an academic merit scholarship of 10% to 100%, the academic merit only scholarship, 10%, or if you don't need a scholarship to travel, you don't have to apply for a scholarship. So just say, no, I want to enroll now and pay in full. Just have that conversation with your folks to make sure they can pay for program tuition and flights and cost of passport. So if you are saying, no, I want to enroll now and pay in full, this is your entire application. You're not going to have a second application. So when I mentioned the 3 short essays before, someone in the questions and answered had asked a question of, I'm only seeing 2 short answer questions, not the 3 essays. That's probably because it's on your program application. So once you open a scholarship, if you're applying for a scholarship, you'll see those 3 essays. So once you've selected the type of scholarship you're applying for, it'll open up a scholarship summer application across the top. The next task, COVID vaccination status. So for 2022, CIEE has a policy that all participants must be vaccinated to participate in the program. All staff also have to be vaccinated, all of our teachers and program leaders. So this is to ensure that we can run a safe program and that we keep you safe, we keep all of the community, your homestay hosts safe. It's also because of international travel restrictions around COVID vaccination. So much of Europe, I'm going to use France for an example, but much of Europe right now is a lot more strict than the US. So if you're not vaccinated and you live in France, what that means is you have to have an app on your phone, and to enter a supermarket, a movie theater, anywhere, a museum, a restaurant, to go anywhere, public transportation, you have to have a negative COVID test every 48 hours to enter any public space if you're not vaccinated. So you can see how if you weren't vaccinated on this program, that would be really cumbersome to keep getting a COVID test every 2 days so that you could participate fully in the program. So that's another reason why we have this policy in place, because a lot of European countries are much more restrictive if you're not vaccinated, and we want to make sure that you can do all of the activities and participate fully. So what you'll do for this task is you'll just select your status of I am fully or will be fully vaccinated 2 weeks prior to program start, or I will not be fully vaccinated, in which case you can request an exemption. If you will not be fully vaccinated, you'll need to complete some forms making your case for an exemption, and that will be reviewed by our health safety team. So this task is due by the 14th. And then there's 2 other tasks. If you're fully vaccinated, we'll ask you your vaccination type and your proof of vaccination, so a copy or a photo of your vaccination card. And those will be due before you can confirm for the program. So if you're accepted, you'll need to do those tasks along with paying your deposit late February, early March, once you're accepted onto the program. And Bill, our VP of Risk Management, will cover a lot more about our vaccination policy and our mitigation efforts, what we do if someone has, exposure while on the program tomorrow. So definitely tune into tomorrow's webinar as well. So let's get started. Is just some basic initial information, date of birth, country of birth, so that matches your passport, your t-shirt size, so we can get you a CIE t-shirt, your mailing address, etc. One thing I want to call out, if you're ever stuck on an application task and it's not letting you submit, it's not letting you save, go through and really carefully make sure you have anything with a red star completed. There's this tiny little red star, it might be hard for you to see right now, next to any task that's required. And if you're missing one of those red star questions, it might not let you submit the task. So that's just something I like to put on your radar, make sure you're aware of. As you go, you'll hit save and close on your tasks. I'm going to cancel for now just because this is an example. In case of emergency, so it's important for us, especially as you're a traveling minor, to have emergency contact information. So this should be 2 legal guardians, or if you only have 1 legal guardian, a legal guardian, and someone else who we could contact while you're on program if there was an emergency, a family friend, a neighbor, if you only, again, have 1 legal guardian. So you'll complete all of this. Your primary emergency contact will also get a CIEE account. We call it the parent portal. So the application needs to be under the student name and student email. If you accidentally were really excited, parents, and open up the application in your name or with your email, that's okay. Email us at hsabroad@ciee.org and we will fix it for you so you don't have to start again. But the application needs to be in the traveling student's name, and then primary emergency contact is where you'll list your parents. Whomever you list as your primary emergency contact will receive an email. It comes from noreply@ciee.org. It sometimes goes to junk or spam, so check those folders. But it will give you instructions on how to log into your parent portal, and then you'll be able to view your student's application, help them with some of the tasks, and just kind of track their progress and access the information as you go. So we ask for a primary emergency contact, and then again, that secondary emergency contact, just in case there is an emergency and we can't reach your first contact. The one task that the primary emergency contacts will never be able to see within their parent account is the gender identity task. CIE wants to respect your privacy, and if that's not a conversation you're comfortable having with your parents, they're not going to see that gender identity task. We will do our best to use the pronouns you've listed on this task as much as we can, with the exception being if for housing or entry requirements, if there's something that we need legally to use what's listed on your passport, but otherwise we're going to use what's provided here as much as we can. School approval, this is a really quick task, but it's just to put on your radar that you shouldn't be missing a lot of school to attend our program. So session 1 starts the middle of June. If you're on the East Coast, you're probably still in school. If you're in California, You shouldn't have any issues with session 1. Session 2 starts middle of July and goes to early August. Some schools in Texas, that's, runs into issues with sports starting and everything in August. So just be mindful of the dates. If you are questioning your program dates at any point, they're always right here on the right under program info. So you have your dates, you have your deadline reminder, you have your program tuition, a link to the website, and again, links to those FAQs for completing your app. So just check the dates, check with school. If you realize, oh shoot, I applied for session 1, my graduation's on Sunday the 12th, I really want to go to graduation, email us at hsabroad@ca.org and we can move your application over to a different session. Just try and email us before the 14th and we can take care of that so you don't have to start again. Program interests and language experience. This is for us to start to get to know you a little bit. So these are the 2 short essays or short responses that someone had asked about earlier. So 250 words here is fine. This is for us to start to get to know you. What are your goals for studying abroad? What do you think is going to be a challenge, and kind of how do you face a challenge? What are your strategies for going out of your comfort zone? And then we'll also ask about, why did you choose this program? Are you, driven by the location? You've just always wanted to go to Japan. You don't care what you're studying, you just want to be in Japan. Or is it the language? You love Italian, your family speaks it, you want to learn it. Whatever your motivation is, you can just let us know here. And then there's just some other questions about your, interests in program types. And then we're going to ask about your French experience and your Spanish experience. So this is because our French and Spanish language programs are the only programs that do have a language requirement. We don't offer level 0 for French or Spanish. So you need to have at least 1 year of high school instruction in the language. If you're interested in our advanced French or advanced Spanish, you need to have 2 years of the language. So we ask that information here. And that's because in part with scholarship awarding, we sometimes need to move you to a different program. So I'll use Japan. Kyoto is our most popular program every year. We unfortunately cannot send all 400 of you or 500 of you, whatever it is this year, who want to go to Kyoto. It just wouldn't be feasible. Would overrun Kyoto with high school students. So if you have a super strong application, you're great fit for the program, you deserve a scholarship, but we just don't have any space left in Kyoto, what we'll do is we'll look at your 2nd and 3rd program choices. Those are on your scholarship application. And we might move you to a 2nd or 3rd choice. And we need this information here to know, do you have French experience? Do you have Spanish experience? Would those programs be an option for you? And then you can also just let us know if you speak any other languages. All of our programs, except for French and Spanish, again, open to total beginners. You'll get placed in a level 0 to a level 3, depending on your experience once you're in country. So CI terms and conditions, participant, oh, I skipped. Sorry, I'm going to go back to CI terms and conditions for the primary emergency contact. So you can view our terms and conditions here through this hyperlink. And then what you will do, the student in your application, you'll add your legal guardian information. It's best if you put your primary emergency contact again. That way they can log into their same existing account and sign the terms and conditions online. Parents, one thing to note, in your account, you'll have the terms and conditions to sign electronically. Before it will let you type your name for the signature, you need to click the view CI terms and conditions link in your parent account. So sometimes folks are like, oh, it's not letting me sign, I'm having a tech issue. But really it's just that you need to click the view CI terms and conditions and in theory, actually read all 24 pages, right? Know what you're signing up for. So just keep that in mind. But students, you'll input their information and your legal guardian will get an email with those instructions. The application fee is $25. You can pay with a credit card, a debit card, or through an ACH transfer through a checking account. And this goes towards all the effort that we put into reviewing applications, providing support through the application process, and of course, for maintaining our IT application software. We have a great IT team that's developed all of this in-house. So that application fee of $25 is due by the 14th as well. All right, the CI terms and conditions participant acknowledgement is for the students. So again, take a look at those terms and conditions with your legal guardian, and then you'll just type your name to electronically sign. Let's wrap this up is the final task on your program application. And you'll just tell us a bit more about how did you hear about CIEE? Do you have any alumni relatives? So if you have an immediate family member, a parent, legal guardian, or a sibling, or you yourself are an alumni, you'll get a 10% sibling or alumni discount. So you can let us know here if you have an alum in the family, and if you've hosted a CIE J1 high school student before, we have a discount for that as well. So just complete anything with a star here and save that task. At the bottom, these readings, it's nothing that you need to answer, but there's a lot of really valuable information here. So you might have more questions about the homestay experience, the insurance we provide and include in your tuition, safety, how do you travel with pocket money? And there's a ton of valuable resources here, and we'll add to it through the spring as well. So I just want to make sure you know that all of these are here. You just click that view button, and these are available through your parent account as well. Right, so let's head over to our scholarship application. All right, so one question I'm seeing that I'll just answer now is kind of about the chances of getting a scholarship. So I talked before about how we send them out for review, everything comes back. In a typical year, pre-COVID, maybe I would say about 50 to 60% of students who apply receive a scholarship, receive some level of funding. This year, we still have the full 5.4 million, but we're not quite at the number of applications that we were back in 2019. So this year, really, it's the year to apply. You've got good chances this year. I can't, predict or guarantee, but I definitely encourage everyone to apply because you never know what you'll get. You could get a really great scholarship. And again, you're not committing to traveling just by applying. You'll still have that time in February and March to really make your final decision once you've seen your scholarship award. So maybe this year it'll be close to 60 to 70% of students who get accepted is my best guess if I had to guess. So the application I have up now is a financial need scholarship application. So the first 3 tasks, if you're applying for merit only, you won't see these tasks. So bear with us while we cover the financial need pieces. So verify your eligibility is again, just making sure you meet those requirements of current freshman, sophomore, junior, and that you have not had a financial need scholarship before, and that you're a US citizen or permanent resident. If you've applied for the wrong type, if you somehow, you're a senior, you somehow accidentally opened a financial need scholarship, email us, we can fix it for you so you don't have to start again. Financial need specifics. So here's where you will need your family's IRS form 1040. So that's the standard tax form that you file each year. We just need the first 2 pages. Within the document, there's a link to an example 2020 1040 that you can view. And if you download it, you'll be able to see the full text. So we highlight and tell you exactly what fields to look at and then how to fill out our form. So what we're looking at is you're going to count up your household members, how many household members you have. So that will be your filing status, be it single, that would be one individual, married filing jointly, that would be two. So you'll count up your filers and then your dependent. The traveling participant must be listed as a dependent on your 2020 1040. So if your parents trade off years of filing and claiming you as a dependent, please give us the 2020 that has you listed as a dependent on it. One thing you can do just for security purposes, because your 1040 has a social security number on it, if you want to take a Sharpie and just black that out, that's totally fine. We don't need to see your social security number. We just need to see the rest of the information. If you filed Schedule 1, that's additional income. We do need a uploaded copy of Schedule 1. And then the total income, it's kind of small here, but that's line 9. I have it highlighted in green. You'll input your total income and your adjusted income line 11 back here. So you can see we just walk through household members. You'll choose from the drop down. Total income, please input a whole number. So don't put change or anything. Just, be really careful. Make sure you're matching it up with your 1040. Your adjusted gross income, again, from your 1040, and then stated family contribution. So talk about your budget. Remember that the program tuition is inclusive of really everything once you arrive on program. So your accommodations, 3 meals a day, all of the activities are going to a museum, a cooking class, a street art walking tour, all of that's included. If you need public transportation once you're in the country, we've got your bus pass covered, whatever that is. So what you'll really need to plan on when you're in country is pocket money if you want to grab ice cream with friends, grab coffee, buy souvenirs for friends back home. So program tuition includes really everything besides those incidentals, but then you're responsible for covering your airfare and the cost of your passport and any COVID testing that might be required by the country prior to departure. So keep that in mind, talk as a family about a budget and let us know what amount you can realistically put towards program tuition, knowing you have these other expenses of flights and passport. And then just acknowledging, yes, you understand that you're responsible for covering airfare. And we'll be sharing a lot more information and instructions on the flight booking process later in the spring, once you're confirmed to travel on the program. All right, so now we're in the rest of the tasks apply to everyone who is applying for a scholarship. There's a question about if you only have your 2019, if you could file for 2020 before the deadline and upload that would be preferred. And then there was a question about if your family's finances have changed significantly. We unfortunately, just because of the volume we're dealing with, and we need to, keep how we look at finances consistent across the board. We can't really take a lot of supplemental or narrative descriptions of income into account because there's not really a way for us to do that equitably and consistently. So we do need the most up-to-date 1040 that you have. If you're able to file your 2021 1040 before the 14th, you could provide us with that. So if you had that significant change this year and you could file your 2021 1040, we would be able to accept that as well. All right. So cumulative GPA, everyone will complete this. You can look at your most recent transcript and pull your GPA from there. If your school doesn't calculate GPA, some schools don't. We do have in the instructions a GPA calculator. So you can copy this URL And what you'll do is you'll just put in your grades like A minus, B plus, B, and it will compute a GPA for you. So you'll type that in here. And then just let us know, do you take any AP, honors, or college courses? Yes, no. The academic transcript, you have your instructions here at the top. So there's some important information we need to see on your transcript. Again, it does not have to be an official transcript. Unofficial is fine. But what we do need to see is your full name, the name of your school, all of your high school grades, at least through like a quarter one, or if you've received semester one for this year. So it should be, your full high school career, including a quarter one progress or semester one for this school year. And then your GPA and the year that you'll graduate. So for a lot of students, if you have a school portal that you can log into and just take like a screenshot or do like save PDF, that usually works just fine. So you'll just, any of these, you'll click this upload and then upload your document. It does need to be a, as it says here, a PDF, a JPEG, or a .doc. So if you have some funky formatting on your file, it might not accept it for that task. A question about GPA. If you don't have your grades yet for this year, you can just use your GPA from your prior year. That's fine. And is it weighted or unweighted GPA that we would like? We would like to have your cumulative weighted GPA is on unweighted, the 4.0 scale. Okay, I think those were all the questions about GPA. All right, so now we're going to get into the essays. So again, I recommend working in Google Doc or Word Doc at first. You can expand this so you can see more information, but for your essays, we say, 300 to 600 words. So, 2 to 3 really strong paragraphs. And what our reviewers are really looking for is, how do you compose these essays? What your answers are? How do you answer the question? How do you structure them? Spelling and grammars are important, so try that as well. But really, how do you answer the question, and do you answer the question completely? So some of our questions are multi-part. So just read those prompts carefully and make sure you're answering all components of the question. So this one is a question about, why is it important to you to experience the high school summer abroad program and the host country you selected? I do want to add that our scholarship review board doesn't necessarily see what program you're applying to. So students who maybe, if you had already applied or were mostly through applying to China, which unfortunately did get canceled for this year, if you wrote your essays about China, that's okay. You don't have to change them. You could if you'd like to, but our review board understands and knows that China was canceled, but they can still, see in your essay, how do you, what are your motivations? How do you write? So if you provided a lot of information about a specific program and then you change at some point, it's okay. They're more looking for overall structure. Overcoming challenges. This one has a few points to hit within the prompt. So again, just read that prompt carefully. And then strengths and participation. So this is a chance to get to tell us a little bit about what you do outside of school, what your interests are, what your hobbies are, how you're involved in the community, and how does that kind of align with your goals for the program. If you had already submitted these and you do want to make some edits, we can send them back to you. Just email us at hsabroad@cie.org so we can help with that. Teacher recommendation is the task I would say to prioritize. So if you have not yet sent this to a teacher, you definitely want to do that today or tomorrow to allow your teacher ample time to complete the recommendation. So what you'll do is you'll enter your teacher's email, and we're going to ask for it twice to make sure you have it right. If your teacher is comfortable with you using their personal email, like a Gmail or Yahoo Hotmail account, that is recommended. Sometimes school email servers have a really strong firewall, and our emails have a hard time getting through. It might go to spam or junk. But if they're not comfortable with using your personal email, that's okay. It'll get to them. They might just let them know to look for an email from an @ciee.org email address, and that they might need to check their spam or junk folder. So provide your teacher recommendation information, and it will send them that email. Your teacher will log into their own personal account to complete the recommendation. You can let them know it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. It's not a formal recommendation letter. It's a couple of short answers and then opportunity to leave like a paragraph of feedback. And you want to choose a teacher who knows you well, who you have a good relationship with. Maybe you have them in class a couple of times a day, someone who can provide us feedback on how you participate in class, how you deal with a challenge. Do you seek help when you're challenged? Do you participate actively in class? So those are the types of questions and feedback that we're looking for. So you can pick a teacher who would be able to give us some feedback on that. I'm seeing a question about how you send the teacher recommendation to the teacher just by completing this task. Once you've entered everything and hit save and hit continue, it'll email the teacher the instructions. And if they have any issues logging in or completing the recommendation, your teacher can always email us at HS Abroad as well. We can help them. Program choices. All right, so here's where, as I mentioned, if your top choice program, the program you're applying to, is full and we're not able to accept you onto that program, we'll look here at your second and third choice and potentially move you to one of those programs. So choose programs you would be really excited about. Don't just choose the same program 3 times. Japan, Japan, Japan is not helping yourself. So choose different options that you would really be excited about. And I do want to highlight that part of our agreement with our scholarship donor is that CIA awards 85% of our scholarships to language and culture programs. That is our donor's passion. She wants students learning a world language, learning it through immersion. So we do award the vast majority of our scholarships to language and culture programs. So if you're not applying to a language and culture program, list a language and culture program as your second and third choice. That's going to give you the best chance of getting a scholarship. Each year we award scholarships to our theme-based programs, so the non-language and culture programs, but we just award the majority of our scholarships to language and culture to meet our donors' interests. And then we'll just ask which sessions you're available for. So let us know if you do have flexibility to attend either session. If session 1's full, but session 2 has space, we might just switch the session if you're free. So that is your application. So you'll need to complete all of these tasks. As you submit things, they'll start to appear over here on your completed task list. And then once you're done, this in process will change and it'll say, I believe it says ready for review or we've got it, something like that. It won't be in process anymore. It'll be something that indicates that we've received your application. So everything here on the scholarship and everything here on your program application, again, due next Friday, the 14th by 11:59 p.m. Eastern time to make that scholarship deadline. I'm gonna skim through the Q&A and see what I should go over in more detail. 1 second. There's a question about the essays being different on your application and what I'm showing here. If something looks off in your application, or again, if you're having an issue, something that I'm, communicating now doesn't add up, shoot us an email at hsabroad@cia.org and we'll look into it for you. Let me get our contact information back up for you too, so you can have that. 1 second. All right. So we'll just share our contact info while we go through the questions. For our phone line, we're open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. If we aren't able to answer your call, it's probably because we're on with someone else. We're really busy right now with the deadline, so we'll do our best to call you back quickly. Yes, the teacher recommendation is also due the 14th, as are your terms and conditions. So that's why I mentioned prioritizing the teacher recommendation tomorrow in school. Talk to a teacher, add their information. That way they'll have time to complete everything by the 14th. And it should only take them like 10 to 15 minutes. How do you know if the teacher has filled it out? You can check in with them, and then it should show. You'll have, once you've added the teacher, there'll be a new section under here with a header that's, I believe it's called tasks others complete. And you'll see teacher recommendation, and it'll show there until your teacher actually submits it. And then it will move to your completed list. Same for your terms and conditions. So you'll complete the CIA terms and conditions with your primary emergency contact info. And then it will move down here to tasks that others complete. And it'll be here until they sign. And then it'll move up here to your new completed task list. There was a question about programs filling up. So program size varies a lot from location to location. Some programs and sites, we have smaller cohorts of 15 to 30 students. That tends to be for more of our topic programs like theater arts in the UK or wildlife conservation in Botswana. Those tend to be smaller. A lot of our language programs tend to be larger. It really varies depending on the city. Arabic, for example, in Morocco's usually around 40 participants. Some of our sites in Spain, like Barcelona or Madrid, could be 80 participants each session. So it really does vary quite a bit, but just based off of our staff on the ground, the popularity of the program, what we can support. But what CIE does is we always keep our language classes super small. So your language class will be 15 students or fewer, and you'll take a pre-program language assessment test, and then we use that to divide you up into classrooms so you're with students who are a similar language level as you. So we always keep your classes super small, and then we always staff up with our program leaders. So for every 10 students, there'll be one CIEE program leader, and they are there with you throughout the day, supervising, leading the activities. And then there's also our local CIE staff who live and in the towns and work for CIE year round. They run our college programs in the spring and the fall, and our high school programs in the summer. So it just depends on the site how many students we can support. Advanced Spanish is only available in Madrid. So in Barcelona, we'll offer levels 1, 2, and 3 for Spanish. But if you are really dedicated to Spanish, you only want to speak in the target language, you really want that advanced option, I would recommend Madrid, which is a great place to spend the summer. Can I talk about kind of a question more about how applications are scored? Yes, so our our review board will read all of those essays. They're looking for quality of the essay. How do you write? How do you structure an essay? Did you respond to the prompt? Do you have good spelling, good grammar? They look at your teacher recommendation. Does that teacher give us feedback that makes us think you would be a good fit for the program? We need, this is an academically rigorous program. We have a lot of fun. We do a lot of amazing cultural activities, but you are also spending 3 hours a day in class. So in your language class or your topic class. So if your teacher's feedback is a student doesn't do their homework, they don't really like school, they have attendance problems, they're not into being a student and learning, this probably isn't the program for you because there is that really strong academic component. So we're looking at that, and then we're looking at your GPA and transcript as well. And that also gives us a sense of, are you academically minded and motivated? There's some more questions about like particular tax information. If your family like owns your own business, your 1040 should still have all of the information that we need. You might also file Schedule 1 and you'll attach that as well, but that should be everything that we need. Yes, a question about Italy, Italian language and culture in Rome. That is our one language and culture program that does not have a homestay experience. So this year, and we did the same last year as well with Rome, it's just challenging to find homestays because of the culture of the city, where we're located, and with COVID protocols and regulations. So we used to run the Italian language program in Ferrara and had homestays, but since moving to Rome, we haven't been able to make the switch to homestay. So our Italian language and culture program, students will be staying in a dormitory or a hotel accommodations. We'll share that information with you later in the spring. And your program leaders will stay on site as well. So they live in the same accommodations, provide supervision. They're there, if there's an emergency or something comes up in the night, and they're also there just to create that sense of community. Scrolling through some of the questions. Questions about, did I submit my application correct? Am I done? So if you are questioning if you have everything done, shoot us an email or give us a call. We can verify for you. Again, on your application, you should see like all set or ready for a review with that text across the top that indicates we received it. But if you're questioning, you just want to get confirmation, shoot us an email. We will on, the day we get back after that 14th. So I think that Monday, the 17th, I believe, is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So CA will be closed. So that Tuesday, we will email everyone to say you made the deadline. So you'll get confirmation from us. Yes, you made the deadline. We're reviewing your application. The deadline for both session is January 14th, regardless of which session you're applying for. January 14th is your deadline. If you plan on getting vaccinated but are not currently, yes, you can still apply, but you will need to upload a copy of your vaccination card once you are accepted. So I would recommend either scheduling your first vaccine shot now or within the next couple of weeks, so that once you're accepted onto the program in late February, you'll be ready to upload a copy of your vaccination. We need that before you can confirm your spot for the program. There's a question about booster shots. And because the CDC boosters were recently approved for the next age group of 12 to 16. So I'm going to defer to Bill Bull in tomorrow's webinar to know if we are requiring boosters. A lot of the European countries are requiring boosters. So of course, any requirements that your program country has that, that will trump whatever CIE's requirements are. But Bill will cover a lot of that tomorrow. And again, we will provide that recording if you're not able to attend live. If you don't submit proof of vaccination by the 14th, we will still review your application, but you will need to provide that proof of vaccination once you're accepted before you can confirm. A question about homestays and how many students are assigned to each homestay. It depends on the host space. So this person in particular asked about Spain. In Spain, a lot of our homestay hosts can accommodate 2 students. So it's possible you could have another CI participant in the same family, or you might be in a homestay on your own. You can learn more about our homestay process, how we screen our homestays. We do an at-home visit. We do the equivalent of a local background check on anyone who's 18 or over. They go through an orientation so they know what their role is and how how the schedule works, how they're fostering exchange and language acquisition. So within your account, the reading on the homestay experience is really helpful as well. But it could be 1 or 2 students. It just depends on the host and how much space they have. Question of if you are offered a scholarship for your second or third choice, do you have to take it? So if you're offered a scholarship for any of your choices, I really, really want to congratulate you. Like, that's amazing. This is a competitive process. Not everyone gets a scholarship. That's a huge accomplishment you should be super proud of. So I, of course, would encourage you to accept the scholarship and travel. Every year we have students who don't travel on their first choice program and they still have an amazing summer. So study abroad, your entire experience is going to take a lot of flexibility. So think of this as, you starting on that journey of being flexible, being open to the things you don't expect, being open to new experiences. So I would really encourage you to seriously consider that program that you got and accept your scholarship. If you would like to decline your scholarship, you may, and you may be able to move to your first choice, but the likelihood that we moved you to your second or third choice is that was because your first choice program was full. So we might not have space for you on that program, but you could contact us and we could talk about it. But again, I'd encourage you to take that scholarship. Does your GPA have to be a number? Yes, on a 4.0 scale, your GPA should be a number. If all you have are grades, remember again that we have that GPA calculator that you can log in and calculate. A question about free time and flexibility. Yeah, I didn't really get into it in this presentation, but I can just quickly touch upon kind of overall program structure and schedule. And a great spot to learn a whole lot more about this is on your application, on your program website. Under the daily activities, we list, of course, your daily activities, and we give you kind of an hour by hour. When are you in class? 9 to noon. That's when you're in your topic class, either your language class or your topic. So, your science class, learning about aquatic ecosystems in Portugal, your theater class, your climate change class in Monteverde. So after that, you usually have a break for lunch. That looks different depending on the site. It could be if we have a study center with a cafeteria, or it could be going to local restaurants and being given a stipend. So the CA staff will, give you money to pay for your lunch out at various restaurants. So that looks a little different site by site. Then we have the cultural activities in the afternoon, and that's going to look different each day. And then after the cultural activity, that's usually when you have some free time. So depending on when that wraps up, you might have a couple of hours before you need to be back at your homestay for the evening. And during orientation, we'll give you information and expectations around what's appropriate to do in your free time. We ask that you always travel in small groups of 2 to 4. Some program leaders will ask you to send a selfie of your group and just text where you're going so we know your plans. So they'll set those expectations, but we do, part of studying abroad is gaining independence. That was on that word chart, right? There's giant, the biggest word was independence. So we want you to experience that and gain a sense of independence. You're going to be problem solving, for yourself, advocating for yourself. And so that's a really key part of the program. And then you'll probably have dinner either with your homestay or with the group if you're in a shared accommodation. And a lot of our programs, you can download a sample itinerary. So this will give you an example in greater detail of what's the typical day, what's a typical week. Where can you find a recording of this meeting? Thank you so much for asking, because I wanted to send you that link. 1 second, let me grab it. So we have a very robust YouTube page that has recordings of previous sessions like this one. We also have, let me grab this for you, send it in the chat. We did earlier this fall, we did presentations with our team abroad. So we had different sites present. So you can see, if you go to videos on our YouTube, you can see the different destinations and hear from our team in South Korea, our team in the UK, etc. We also did a night for parents in Spanish. So if your family is more comfortable speaking Spanish, that's a great presentation to share with them. The general info session gives more general program information on the structure, outcomes for the program, supervision, travel to and from program. It's less application focused. So that's a great one. The general info session, application workshop, same as what we just went through. That was from, I believe I recorded that one maybe in November or December. And then the alumni discussion panel is cool too. So we had 4 alumni from 2021 come on and share about their experience. So there's a lot of good resources for you here on this YouTube page. And they just sent that link through in the chat. Question about, can you be in the program if you're 14? Yes, we don't have an age requirement. The requirement is just that you will have completed 9th grade prior to travel. A question about switching. So if you, have been doing your research, you applied for Barcelona, but you'd really prefer to be in Madrid, you want to do the advanced program, shoot us an email at hsabroad@ci.org, and we can change over your application for you so you don't have to start again. If your semester 1 grades aren't on your report card yet, please upload a report card from the end of last year, so the end of the 2020-2021 school year from June. So we have your GPA and all your courses on that. And then if you have a progress report or at least quarter 1 from this year, you could upload that as well. You should be able to upload multiple documents to that task. Do I anticipate Japan will run? Bill might touch on this some more tomorrow. If the travel restrictions and that 2-week quarantine do not change, we would unfortunately not be able to run Japan. We won't run a program if there's a strict 2-week quarantine. You're only there for 4 weeks. We don't want you spending 2 of it in a hotel room. But we're just waiting for now and seeing. We're hopeful that something will change. So if we aren't able to run Japan or any of our other programs for some reason between now and the time of departure, if CIE cancels your program, you'll have the option to pick another program for this summer or to cancel and receive a refund of any payments that you had made. So we'll probably making final decisions, I would think in March, because we don't want you, booking flights if the outlook's not good. So we'll keep you posted on that, but just know that if you apply for a program that CIE does end up having to cancel, we'll work with you to choose a new program for this summer, or you could cancel and apply again for a future year. Does K-pop immersion have homestay? No. So on your program website, again, that's where you can see the accommodations. And our K-pop program uses a university, hotel, or youth hostel. When will you know if you're accepted to the program and received a scholarship? That will be mid to late February. So we'll email you to let you know if you were accepted, what program you were accepted to, your scholarship amount, and that way you'll be able to see program tuition, scholarship amount, and the remaining balance that your family needs to cover. At that point, you will have a couple of tasks to confirm your spot if you do want to travel. So you'll pay a $1,000 acceptance deposit that goes towards your total remaining balance. You'll upload that proof of vaccination and do a couple other quick tasks, like let us know if you have a passport and some initial health questions so that we know about any allergies or health issues that we'll just need to be prepared to support you on program. So you'll have 10 days from the time you receive that announcement to talk it over as a family, look at your budget, and decide if you would like to join us or not. A question about if your school approves you to miss a day or two of school for the program. That's up for you to work out with your school. So you might need to talk to your guidance counselor or advisor. We have had schools approve that in the past. We just want you to make sure you're not missing any critical work and have a plan. So get school approval and work with them. Question about the size of Copenhagen. I think it'll probably be about 30 to 40 students. There's a couple of questions about like, will I be with my friend? And one of the coolest things about this program is the other students you're going to meet. So every year we have participants from all across the US. We usually have like 45 to 48 states represented, across all of our programs. It's pretty incredible. So you're going to make friends from all over the US, different backgrounds, and it's friends you'll have for the rest of your life. It's one of students' favorite parts. So part of that, to encourage you to make new friends, we will not pair you with a buddy. So if you're traveling with a friend, that's awesome. But we will not put you in the same room as them because we don't want you to kind of like isolate and just be hanging out as the two of you. We want you to be making new friends. And you'll still see your friend throughout the program, right? You're all in class, you're doing activities, you have that free time, you'll still see them plenty. Is CIE and CIE TEFL the same program? Yes, so CIEE does have a TEFL program where you can get certified to teach English as a foreign language. Thank you for asking. Question about when is the next general info session? So because we're so close to the deadline, next Wednesday, the 12th, I'll be hosting this same itinerary again. If you still have questions about the application, come back, I'll give you the same info again. So if you want to hear the more general presentation, I would recommend you head to the YouTube page, and let me see if I can grab, I'll grab you this specific URL. Here we go. So I'll put this in the chat. So this is for the general info session, I believe. So you can see that recording. the question about how do you show proof of vaccination? So on your application, the proof of vaccination task, you'll upload an image and just take a picture or scan a copy of your CDC vaccination card. And again, this isn't due until you've actually been accepted to the program. If you already have your 2 doses and you want to just get the task over with, upload it now, awesome, go for it. If you don't have both doses yet, you can upload this once you're accepted to the program. Ooh, a question about, is there a sample itinerary for Italian language and culture? I think that is one of the few programs that we do not have the full sample itinerary for since the switch from Ferrara to Rome. Let me double check on that. We do have great blogs from Italy from last year, so that's a really cool section of our website. Let me send through this link as well. But our blog page is really good to get a sense of last year. And we do a lot of the same activities year over year, but we're always also looking for new activities that we haven't done that would be cool to incorporate. So it won't be the exact same. But from here, from our blog page, you can search by the program. And if you wanted to, like only see information about the language program, you can type in a word there. And then you can read blog posts. We have blogs written by students, and we also have blogs written by program leaders, so you can get both perspectives. Right. I'm not seeing any other major themes here in the chat, so I think we will call it a night there. Thank you for staying on if you've stuck with us this whole time. We're really excited to see all of your applications and read those essays and learn more about you and help you hopefully get prepared for an amazing summer. So reach out if you do have questions between now and January 14th. We're here to help. I hope some of you can join tomorrow for that health safety webinar, but again, we'll share the recording out afterwards if you can't join us. And yeah, get your application in by the deadline on the 14th. You never know, you could get an amazing scholarship and have a really phenomenal summer. So thank you so much for your time tonight. And with that, I'll sign off. Thanks so much, everyone. Take care.